Good morning, everyone. It's the 17th of July and it's 8:57 in the morning. I've just woken up. Well, I haven't. I think I've been awake about an hour. And so I'm still in my pajamas, drinking my morning coffee with my protein powder in it. Sets me up for the day because my main energy source is protein now. So I use the My Protein collagen powder. And I get the unflavoured one, but I get it in a 2.5 kilogram bag, so it's like that. And I'm not joking, it's lasted me almost 3 months, one bag. It's about, what I normally do is I buy it when My Protein have the offers on, so it's either half price or a bit, maybe a little bit more. So last time I got 2 bags for £80 or 80 something pound, so it was half price. And so I've still got 1 bag left, so when I open that one I will then do another order for 2 more. But it lasts me about 3 months, but I use it a lot because you can mix it with anything. You can mix it with soups, but obviously you've got to once you warm them up, then it dissolves. It doesn't dissolve. It's like a powdered milk type substance until you mix it with either cold water or hot water. But you can mix it with cold or hot and it dissolves. And I get the unflavoured one so that I don't have any, but you can get flavoured ones as well. And that's a very good way for me to hit my protein goals every day if I'm having a bad day where I'm not hungry, because some days I can go all day without eating a single thing but just drinking, but I still hit my protein goals because I've got them. I've got that powder. I've also got something called Protein Selects from My Protein, which is protein powders that you mix with milk, lactose-free milk or normal milk, whoever. I'm appealing to the gastric sleeve people because you're meant to use lactose-free milk, which is what I use. And then I also have something called Clear Whey Isolate, which they come in sachets and in big tubs. I've got a couple of the tubs, but I'm also still using up some of the sachets from what I ordered before I actually had my operation. And they're like a juice, a flavoured juice. So if you get the variety pack, they've changed it because they used to do them in boxes of 20, but now they only do them in boxes of 10. However, they do mixed flavours, so you don't get the same flavours each time. But I really liked the grape flavour and the apple one, so I bought tubs of that one, which I've still got. So anyway, let's talk about yesterday. Yesterday I had an absolute nightmare day. It was absolutely awful from start to finish. I got up, had a shower, which is good because I've changed my pajamas and everything else. I like it. I like a shower day for me. I change my pajamas and everything else. Wash my hair and everything. I do everything all in one. And I was trying out this new bath mat that my dad got me because it washes the bottom of your feet as you're showering. So it soaps up, but my bath is quite narrow at the bottom, so it doesn't stick down properly. And the first time I tried using it, I slipped. The mat slipped and I slipped with it and hurt myself. So I thought I'll try it again because I'm 7 stone lighter, nearly. So I tried again and I thought maybe it's my weight that's the issue. So I tried again, and yesterday morning, yet again, I slipped and hurt myself trying to get out of the shower. I've got no safety rails at the moment. I've got to organise that with my housing association. but I'm dealing with that at the moment. Yeah, but ideally, I'd either like safety rails or the bath taken out, because I haven't been able to use the bath since I moved in here, and I've been living here for 4 years. Oh, over 4 years now. So, but that's because of my size, I think, and anxiety, because I had, when I was living in the homeless hostel, they had a bath there, and I had a bath just before I moved out. I had a bath there, and I slipped in the bath, fell, hurt myself, really disorientated myself because I hurt myself. But I had support there. I rang downstairs. I told the staff. They then came up to make sure I was all right, that I didn't need an ambulance or anything else. I said, yeah, I'm just sore. I'm just in pain and I'm sore. But she gave me a hug. And I remember I was sitting there in just a towel, and she gave me a hug because I was a little bit shaken up. But when I first moved in here, because I used to love a soak in the bath, especially as I'm top heavy. I've got big boobs. I've always had big boobs. Whether I'm fat or not, I was a size 10 and I had 36 double D boobs. So they're huge to walk around on somebody that's got a waist that's a size 10. And so my top half always looks bigger than my bottom half. So my bottom half is at the moment, it's about size 18 in UK clothing. But my top half is a 20 to 22. Yes, it's the boobs. But I can't expect, I would be entitled to a breast reduction on the NHS, but I need to lose a lot more weight before I'd even be considered for it, because of how my back is being affected, and my knees, my back and knee pain. I'm under the GP for them, but they're dealing with it. But they won't do nothing until I'm out of the obese category. What my problem is I'm 5'2", so I'm short, but I'm fat. So I look a lot bigger than what I am because of how tall I am. So it's my weight is very deceiving. And also my bottom half has always been smaller than my top half. I used to be a size 10 on the bottom and a size 12 to 14 on the top. So it's always one size up, my top half is. But I am used to that now. And at the moment, because I was so fat, I could only wear sports bras, and I was buying like 6XL ones. But now they're very loose. But I wear a bra all the time because I have stress-related psoriasis. So I get sore underneath my boobs, and well, now I'm also getting the loose skin as well, the loose saggy skin. I'm getting sore, but what my support group suggested to get some liquid talc, and I got that from Asda actually, and it was £3 a tube, and it's brilliant stuff, absolutely brilliant. You put it on and you think, oh, it's cream, I'm putting cream on, because the doctor told me to keep it dry, but the liquid talc goes on moist, so it's really confusing. But it's helping with the chafing, because I'm getting chafing in between my legs, at the bottom of my buttocks. I know this is TMI, but this is one of the downsides to the surgery. But at the bottom of my buttocks and in between my legs, because my legs are the thing that I've noticed the loose skin on more than anywhere. Legs and my stomach, because they were the things that were the most. Oh, and my arms. I've got like big saggy bits here now. Look, bingo. I've got more than bingo wings. More than bingo wings. But I wasn't happy with how my body looked when I was a size 30 to 32. So I'm not going to be happy with my body how it looks now. I wasn't happy with my body when I was a size 10. And I had nothing really to complain about then because I was quite slim. But I haven't been a size 10 for at least 15 years now. At least. I think when I moved to the town that I live in now, moved to where I'm living now, that was 7 years ago. And then I was a size 16. So I'm not that far off of the size I am now to when I first moved here. But when I look in the mirror, I look a lot bigger than what I did then. I'm sure I do. But then again, saying that, if I was a size 16 on the top half, I would have, no, it would have been about an 18 to 20 on the top and a 16 at the bottom. Yeah, when I first moved here, I was a size 16 on the bottom half. But health and anxiety and mental health, as I've piled away, and COVID basically, because we had COVID, didn't we, in the last 4 years. COVID, I put on so much weight because I was depressed. I didn't have any way of seeing or speaking to anybody. And after the first lockdown, I'd moved in here and I was totally alone. I had no support workers, nothing. And that threw me totally with my mental health. I didn't know how to deal with that because I'd spent the last 4 years being in supported housing. Like the first one was the night shelter, where you get kicked out at 9 o'clock every morning and then you was allowed to go back at 7 o'clock every night. So you was out for 10 hours a day, but you had a bed every night. But that was hard work. That was really, really hard work. Because what they would do is, when you're supposed to amuse yourself for 10 hours a day. Luckily for me, they had a cafe where I live that provided food for the homeless and the vulnerable. So even if you could go in there and you'd get a meal no matter what happened. So my timetable would be, I'd get up, get ready and everything else. Then I'd leave at about 5 to 9. Walk down to the library. I'd then go and sit in the library for a little while until the cafe opened. Then I would go to the cafe, get some breakfast, a cup of coffee, blah, blah, blah. And I'd either stay in there all day, or I'd go back to the library after I'd had enough food and that. But it was so hard because everybody that I knew and everybody that I'd met was all vulnerable, homeless and addicts. So, and when you went back to the shelter at 7 o'clock, first thing they do is breathalyse you. And if you'd had a drink and if you was over the limit, they wouldn't let you in. So it was like swings and roundabouts. They made you go out for 10 hours a day and you had to amuse yourself for 10 hours a day, but you wasn't allowed to drink or take drugs. They said either, but they wasn't drug testing people at the time. And I turned around and I said to them, it's not fair. I said, because if people have got issues with alcohol, you don't let them in. Whereas if somebody's off their face on drugs, you don't test them. That's just wrong. It's one rule for one and one rule for somebody else. You should drug test everybody as well. And unfortunately, for the rest of the residents, after they moved me to a move-on house, they then started drug testing everybody. So I wasn't very popular. I said, because it's not fair. And I'm quite a vocal advocate. And I said, it's not fair. I said, because you can be a drug addict in this shelter, but you can't be an alcoholic. It's ridiculous. And sorry, sorry, not sorry. But anyway, but because I'd admitted to them that I started drinking again I was in a like a hostel type, not a hostel type thing, first of all. They moved me into a place where all the rough sleepers would go at 9 o'clock of the night, and it's only during the winter time that you're allowed, that they do this. You go at 9 o'clock, there's about 10 of you, and you go at 9 o'clock every night. They give you something to eat, then you get a taxi from there to another place, like a community hall or a church or something like that, and then you all go and get blow-up beds from the back, and then you all sleep in the same room. So for the first 6 days, I was actually sleeping in the same room as men and women. So that was an experience, but literally, I didn't have a choice. It was either that or be on the streets. So I was just grateful to be in the warm. I had to book to have a shower. I was only there on this thing for 6 days, but I managed to have I managed to book in 2 showers, because you had to book them in, and if somebody else had booked one, the space wasn't available. So I used to pre-book them so I could have at least 2. But then luckily for me, they moved me into the main house after 6 days. And then I had access to one of 2 showers every day. And, well, twice a day, because if I got up at 7 o'clock, I could have a shower then. But what they'd do is they'd lock the door, and the overnight support worker would sleep in the office type. And that, so you wasn't allowed to go outside. So from 11 o'clock, from 11 o'clock till 7 o'clock in the morning, you was effectively locked in. And at the time, I was a smoker. I don't smoke now, but I was a smoker. So that was quite rough, especially when I have my anxiety, my insomnia. So what I used to do is I smoked out the window. Not when I was there the first time. The first time I didn't actually do that because I was only there for 2 weeks. And then they moved me to a move-on house, which was the second stage, which is like independent living before you then try and get your own council property. So after 2 weeks, they moved me to this other house, but then I had an issue with one of the guys that lived there. He was touching me up, and he was being inappropriate with me, and I didn't like that, but I didn't know what to do about it. But instead of dealing with it like a normal person, or like a person who hasn't got mental health, whatever, I started drinking to cope with the abuse. And it took me a long time before I actually broke down and told like my support worker and everything about it. I think I was put up with it for 2 months. But then they moved me back. They said they was going to move me to a move-on house at the end of the road of the main house, which I wanted anyway. But then, instead of doing that, they moved me there. But because I had a issue with my brother as well, and I was trying to do too much all at the same time, I had a bit of a mental health breakdown when I was visiting him. So they then moved me from that one back to the main house, and they kept me there for 8 months, which was very, very hard, because then you get kicked. In all of the move-on houses, you can stay in there all day if you needed to, so I could protect myself if I needed to and keep myself safe. Being out for 10 hours a day, you can't keep yourself safe from temptations and things. And they all knew that if I booked a night out, I was getting drunk. I was getting on it with the rest of the homeless crew, because we made the best of a bad situation. We had parties around my friend. I remember this lady called Steph, I think her name was. We had parties around her house, and they were mental, absolutely mental. People would take it in turns to go and do beer runs so that they didn't have to pay for the drink. So they'd all take it in turns, so it was different people going nicking from the shops. I never did that though. Well, they did try to get me to do it once. They tried to get me to do it once, and I went in there with another guy, and he turned around and said, just pick up a case and walk out of it, you'll be all right. I mean, the manager's by the front door, you can see him. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to end up risking going to be in a police cell today just for a crate of bloody beer. No, so I put it down and I walked out with nothing. And I said, I'm sorry, but the manager was by the front door and I weren't going to risk my neck on the block for it, just to nick it. I said, and literally, I'm not joking, where I live, the homeless problem, and because of the CAF, because there's a CAF here and there's 2 homeless shelters here, it's, the homeless problem where I live is almost as bad as being in London. So, but that's neither here nor there. That was hard, but it shaped who I am, and I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't go through them experiences, would I? And so, but getting back to what I was originally talking about, I fell in the shower, but then because of the squeaking of the chair, look, there's no squeaking. I WD-40'd underneath the chair yesterday, and I wear sliders as opposed to flip-flops when it's hot. I wear sliders quite a lot, and I've got a vinyl floor, and I didn't realise that WD-40 made your floor slippery. And I walked and nearly fell over, and then I've got the mop bucket and I was going to mop up, and then before I had a chance to actually get the mop on the floor, I fell arse over tit. So that was 2 falls I'd had in 24 hours. So I'm in a little bit of pain at the moment, but I'm in good spirits. I'm happy. I'm relatively healthy. I may need to speak to the GP about some stronger painkillers, maybe at least until me wounds have healed. But I woke up this morning with a bad headache, feeling sorry for myself because I was in pain. But I've taken some painkillers. I think I've taken double the painkillers because I couldn't remember whether I'd taken the painkillers with my morning meds or not. So, but the pain in my head was that bad, I took them again, and I said, like, at the end of the day, it ain't gonna matter to me if I do it once, because my head was so disorientated, I couldn't remember. So if I've taken them twice, they seem to be working because I'm not in pain at all, even with my back on my head now. So, have a great day, everybody, and because I can't wait to get my fan on, because I had some feedback about my videos and the outside noise was a bit of a distraction from people. So I'm trying to make my videos without the fan on, without the doors open, etc. But at the moment it's really hot in this room. It's really hot, and I can't wait to open the door and put the fan on. So have a great day, everybody. Ta-ta for now.